Tomorrow would be the beginning of National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo. But last year, if you missed it, there was a massive controversy that basically shut everything down, ended the 501c3. They completely fell apart. I've never seen an organization fall apart this fast or this crazily. And people were looking for alternatives last year, and there really wasn't one. Now, one of their original sponsors is called Pro Writing Aid, and they just restarted it as Novel November. I guess there's a trademark issue with NaNoWriMo, so they changed it as a name and are putting this up there. So this is a good resource for writers. Pro Writing Aid actually reached out to me and actually let me know this was going on, which is a good sign that they're not going to be super political or anything like that. And maybe they'll just get back to what this event was, which is actually one of the things that helped me along as an author when I first started, which is just about like making sure you wrote a novel and giving yourself some goals. When you kind of gamify things and turn it into a game and turn it into something interesting like that, you have like a real benchmarks that you can accomplish every single day, and it's a good thing. And that's why I liked NaNoWriMo until it all changed. So I'm going to remind you of the controversies that led to all this. It was pretty wild the last few years. If you didn't see what happened, it is quite the entertaining subject. And of course, then we'll get into the Pro Writing Aid change that actually starts tomorrow. I'll be partially participating in this. I'm in the middle of a novel right now, so I'm not going to be starting a new one, but I will be trying to hit those word counts every single day in November, and you can join along with me. We have a Discord of some great people if you want to participate and hang out. I appreciate you guys. And then I am also a sci-fi writer, so before we get into this, I have my Valiant Frontiers. This is a sci-fi trilogy I've written over the last year and a half, which is really my answer to everything that's gone on in science fiction in the last 30, 40 years. I think things have gone way off the rails. There's no more sense of wonder. There's no more sense of exploration. There's no more like real heroism. And so we're bringing it back. This is Captain Christopher Conley and his crew going on an adventure in the EAS Valiant. And each one of these has its own standalone sci-fi concept. The third one's a time travel adventure. It's really beautiful stuff and my most complicated work I've ever done. So check it out. It's in the description below. Support my channel. Grab this. If you can only get ebooks, go grab the ebooks, but their hardcovers are going to be phenomenal. So I do recommend that. Thank you guys for being here. So yes, NaNoWriMo, like I said, embroiled itself in controversies. I first had a whistleblower come to me in 2022 who said, I've been one of their remote volunteers for almost a decade as an ML for my local area and enjoyed it. A few weeks ago, HQ sent out an email about some new policies that they'll be implementing starting in this year's cycle. One of them requires that all volunteers must go through CRT woke DEI training of some sort, either one that they provided or one of their companies, and then send them a letter about how they will implement their training into their region. I haven't fully looked into it yet, but I'm assuming this will require turning all of our offices into safe spaces and the woke SJW whatever. Right now, my area is a chill space. We don't focus on labels, identities, and call-out culture, but I'm afraid that if I don't turn it into one of those types of spaces, I'll be removed from my spot. They also reported that NaNoWriMo was having BIPOC, that's Black, Indigenous, Person of Color Zoom meetings to discriminate against white authors. It makes sense. NaNoWriMo, of course, was based in Berkeley, California. Now, they also had a problem with child predators, as were reported by an X account a couple years back. The nonprofit ignored reports about one of their mods funneling teen minors from their site to an ABDL fetish site, only banning them on 6 months after the users who uncovered the issue got frustrated and went public. So you'd think that this would just absolutely torch the company. This was 2023. NaNoWriMo actually became a 501c3 nonprofit that was actually getting COVID grant money, hundreds of thousands of dollars of donations a year, and still couldn't manage to do it. And it's like, you run a website, what's going on? Just for people to go, I wrote my novel. Like, it's a forum. Like, why do you need all this stuff? But it got pretty bloated. I mean, like, they would have authors like Brandon Sanderson making like encouragement videos. It was pretty wild how big this got. And like I said, I liked it. Like, I started out in my first novel I didn't use with this, but my second novel, For Steam and Country, which a lot of you have probably read, I actually started that during one of these challenges, and I used that to actually push myself to get that going in a reasonable time frame. It taught me how to go from, my first novel took me 10 plus years to write because I was just doing it on the side, after work and things like that. The second one I actually did pretty quickly, and then I learned how to do it as a job from that point. And I used NaNoWriMo back then. I originally wrote For Steam and Country, actually the first iteration of that in 2014, and then I would participate in 2015, 2016, etc., and actually built myself a back catalog of novels by doing this. It was a really good thing that turned me into a professional author, and I appreciate it despite the way that this organization went off the rails. But this is not what killed the organization. If you thought that woke politics would kill an organization, if you thought that like weird stuff with minors and predators would kill an organization, you'd be wrong. They kept going. They didn't care. And this is how absurd the SJWs were. In 2024, the reason this all happened is they had made a statement allowing AI use. And this is what killed their organization. They posted, they neither explicitly support nor condemn any approach to writing, including the use of tools that leverage AI. We recognize the harm that has been done to writing creative communities at the hands of bad actors in the generative AI space. That ethical question and risk posed by some of the aspects of this technology are real. The fact that AI is a large, complex technology category, which encompasses both non-generative and generative AI, applied to a range of ways of uses, contributes to our belief that AI is simply too big and too varied to categorically support or condemn. Our mission is to provide structure, community, encouragement to help people use their voices, achieve their goals, and build new worlds on and off the page. We fulfill our mission by supporting hundreds of humans doing writings. Please see this related post that speaks to our overall position as non-discrimination with respect to approaches on creativity, writers' resources, and personal choice. That's it. They said this. Their non-stance was enough to send the woke into a tizzy fit. They felt threatened by this, and so all of their volunteers started going out there and quitting because of it. I'm dead serious. This gutted their organization. They didn't have enough to continue after this. And then a lady who was actually a paid employee, a full-time paid employee, went out and made a video showing that like their resources had dried up, etc., and their volunteers had dried up, all because of this. It's pretty crazy. If all that other stuff didn't do it, this was the thing. Got all these aspiring writers crying. So they sent out an email saying that they were shutting down. It will begin the process of shutting down, they said last year, explaining how we got here is simple and complex. Funding woes that have threatened nonprofits in recent years have an extraordinary trend. Now, again, I could put up a website for a couple $1,000s that could do what they could do and run it forever with hosting fees and whatever, and it would not be a big deal. You don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars to run something like this, but that's what they did, and that's it. We come to you with sad news. After 6 years struggling to sustain itself, it will begin shutting down. And so that was it. They actually nuked the website by that, and that was the end of that. People actually came to me last year asking for an alternative and whatever. I don't have time to run something like this. I'm writing my own books and doing the YouTube here. It's a lot of work, guys. And of course, running Fandom Pulse to, of course, write the news that's out there. We're the only news that covers this kind of stuff. And so it's a big job. And so I can't run, people have asked me to run awards. People have asked me to run lots of stuff. It's not doable. So this is somebody else. Pro Writing Aid is a company that is. I don't use any of their products. I don't think, but they use different. They make different writing products, and so that's a good one to sponsor this because they're a company that can write this off. It's a good thing. So here it is. NaNoWriMo is back with a new name. They say after 25 years of fueling millions of writers. Or National Novel Writing Month had shut down. That left 500,000 writers around the world without a home. A new organization alongside best-selling authors have stepped in to fill the void, and this is Pro Writing Aid. They're teaming up with Kickstarter, teaming up with Scrivener, which I actually do use the Scrivener product. I like that a lot. To, of course, do this. This is good because now it's like real companies doing it and not... when you get a 501c3, that's why the activists get in there, right? And so they're not like real business people. They're not people who understand what needs to be done with this kind of thing. Pro Writing Aid doing this is probably a good thing. Like I said, they emailed me and let me know this was going on, which, is always a good thing. If somebody isn't afraid of me, I appreciate that because, of course, the publishing industry gets very scary. So they have this big, long thing beginning in October, workshops offered, etc. But the truth is, but what we got, this is National Novel Writing Month, Pro Writing Aid /novel-November. And here it is. So the Novel Writing Challenge, they've got the same sort of categorical setup that they used to have. It's free. Track your word count. Get advice from best-selling authors. Write with others. Celebrate your success. And here's all the people who are helping to support this and actually go in and I guess send some money on this. So that's it. The prep in October, November, polish to publish December. So they're expanding this a little bit, which is actually pretty cool. And that's it. So good stuff. And I'm glad that they're continuing this and getting this going along. I think it's a useful thing, and I'm glad that it's a company doing this rather than just like some rather nonprofit sort of deal, because that's going to be very, very helpful just for keeping it sustainable for the long term, keeping it on track for what it's supposed to be, which NaNoWriMo went off the rails. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and also check out my Valiant Frontiers. This is my work, and I really appreciate you guys for reading. Get the whole trilogy today. It's in the description below. We'll be back soon.